Next project in Art 1, which will be your third watercolor, is a watercolor batik. A batik is a project that incorporates hot wax into your pieces. We'll be using a lot of different types of media in this. First of all, you want to pick out something that has a lot of light areas so you can save with rubber cement. For example, I picked out this box. As you can see, there's a lot of white areas, where extreme white areas in the snow and obviously in his fur. So the first thing I did was draw it out with pencil. The next thing you will do after that part is all drawn is take rubber cement and something that has a small brush, and I have brushes up there for you because you cannot rinse them out, but you want to make sure the rubber cement is very gooey and not stiff format. You can see how it's just pulling. You don't want it stiff, and it doesn't need to have a lot on there. It just needs to cover an area. You can see where I have the rubber cement already covered, and all you're going to do is, where I want to save a light spot, I dab it in. It is okay if it doesn't become solid. That's where the imperfections are perfect in the watercolor. So I use it this way, and I just dab in where I want white areas in there, like I'm painting with a watercolor, and I'll do all my lights. I will let it dry. Then the next step, after it is dry, you notice that above, I kind of have a color wash up here of like a light violet or a red violet color. And as you notice in my picture, there is no red violet. So your next step is to take watercolor, any color that you want, and pick out a color that is not used in your watercolor picture. So for example, I don't want to use like a bluish gray. I don't want to use like the browns, yellows, and oranges because it is way too close to what is in the fox. So I might use a pink, a red violet, yellow in here, and try to use color. And then when the rubber cement is dry, I'm going to wash over the whole entire project with that color. As you can see, you will still see, and this is a light color, not real dark, so you don't want heavy pigment. Then, after that, you will leave the rubber cement on pretty much for the remainder. After your background color is completely done, you will notice that you will have colors in places that normally might not be in those areas. This will help you to start thinking, getting some more abstract colors in your painting that maybe you are just not willing to do or to try because you think it'll mess it up. So now you automatically have those weird color combinations in there that you can't get rid of. So the next thing is take your watercolors and you're going to paint it normally. So for example, in the sky, maybe I'll use a little bluish gray in there, and hopefully, like I said before, watercolors are transparent, and when you do overlays, you should still be able to see some of those colors coming in over the top in the picture. So I will paint over the top with the colors that I see, the yellows and the oranges, the browns, and so forth, all mixed together to create my fox. After that part is done, my watercolor is complete. Say it is all complete. I know it is not. I will let it dry. Then I will come back and I will rub off my rubber cement. And you can just see it in a little area where I rubbed. This stuff has been on there for a long time, so it might not look as pretty. And it might smear a little bit just because it's been too long. But you can see that's going to save your whites. The last step is with a completely different media. Now we will heat up hot wax, like what you saw from the kids doing the batiks with the canvases back there. We will cover your whole entire picture with hot wax, one layer, let it dry, and then put some cracks in it. When you crack it, you'll be bending your paper like this to get cracks and imperfections. The last step is to take tempera paint, any color that you want, that is a color that has not been used in your painting. So if I did this in yellow, or if I did this in red violet, as you can see. Now, I painted this color, so I have red violet down, so maybe I will, a color that I have not used in here, purple, a bright red, a green. I could take tempera paint and I will dilute it with water and I will just rub it into the painting. Now the wax is going to protect it so it doesn't cover your painting, but where the cracks are that you made by bending your paper with the wax are going to get in, the green is going to get into the crack lines. Then the last step is ironing it off. So your process: draw your image, rubber cement light areas, paint over with a color not used in your painting. 4, paint like normal. 5, use hot wax, and then crack it after it's dry. 6, cover with diluted tempera, a color not in your painting, and then iron off all of the wax. Number 7. Have fun.